Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, I have a very sad story for you here today. So, we have a story here where a man's wife passes away and he thinks that he has finally found love again. You know, things are looking up. Time has passed. He's found a new girlfriend and he seems to be on track with, coping with that loss, I suppose. But then he catches his new girlfriend and her coworker texting behind his back. This is a classic story. I actually see, I guess microcosms of this happen all the time, where dudes will go through a horrible experience with a woman and then they'll be like, the next one I found and she's the one, everything's perfect, she's absolutely great. Little do they realize that she is, of course, fishing for male attention on the weekends and things like this, and she ends up cheating, or she's just not a good relationship prospect whatsoever. But let's jump into this story here, okay? It's titled, Found Love Again After My Wife Passed Away, Then Caught My New Girlfriend and Her Coworker Texting Behind My Back. The absolute classic. It's always coworkers, by the way, guys. Like, I'm telling you, coworkers, one of the biggest enemies to long, successful marriages, it seems. So he says, 3 years ago, I, 36-year-old male, lost my wife to a rare autoimmune condition. We were together for almost a decade, so long-ass marriage as far as modern-day marriages go, at least. Her decline was fast, and when it happened, I was emotionally wrecked for a long time, as you would be. He took time off of work, started therapy, and spent most of his time alone or with a few close friends. But eventually, he started to piece things back together. About a year and a half after she passed, I started dating again, very cautiously. I met somebody through a mutual friend. Her name was Claire, 32. She was understanding about my past and never pressured me to move faster than I was already. After a few months, it started to feel real, and I began to see a future again. Right? So this dude hasn't mentioned any glaring, red flags here. This isn't a woman who goes to raves, for example. She's not divorced. The only giant red flag is the fact that she's 32 years of age and she's still single. I have said this on the channel many times. But dating is not difficult for women, and the longer they go without a serious partner, look at me using language like partner, disgusting. The longer they go without having a husband or a long-term relationship, it kind of begs the question, what the hell are you doing? The reason why I don't hold men to the same standard is because it's very simple. Dating is not easy for men, particularly average men. It can be very, very difficult. Oftentimes, they can spend their entire lives invisible to women altogether. So that's why I don't hold men and women to the same standard there. 32 years of age, single as a woman, what is going on there? Let's jump in. Claire and I had been dating for about 10 months and she'd start introducing me to her world. Co-workers, weekend get-togethers, the usual. One person she always brought up was Josh, 34. The co-worker who she worked closely with, she described him as just a work buddy. Funny, sarcastic, into the same niche music that she liked. I guarantee you as well with these dudes, she's probably hooked up with this guy before you even knew he existed. At first, he didn't think much of it. He knew office friendships happen, but eventually I started to notice little things. They texted a lot, not just occasionally, quite frequently. She'd smile at her phone and lock it when I walked into the room. That's always a good sign, guys, when your girlfriend or wife locks her phone when you walk into the room. Sounds to, as well, like, I don't know if they're living together, but this dude, quite possibly is paying the bills as well. Once I saw a notification pop up, when she left her phone on the couch, it was a message from him that said, he home yet? Nothing incriminating on its own, but enough to plant doubt. Yeah, here's the thing. You got a wife, guys. Your wife has guy friends, co-worker friends who are dudes. Yeah, this is, people will gaslight you and call you insecure, but women who have guy friends, why? Like you're supposed to be going there for work. You're not there to make guy buddies. And you've got to ask the question, okay, why do women even want male friends anyway? Because he's into the same niche music. Come on now. Let's continue. He tried to ignore it. He didn't want to be the guy who couldn't trust again after everything he'd been through, but the feeling kept growing. I love this idea, right? That like men just get gaslit into the idea that we have to trust people. You know, oh, I don't want to be the guy that's not trusting. You know, guys, trust is essential in a long-term relationship. You need to trust people. It's like, this is current year as of recording this video. This is 2025. Okay, trust is a little bit outdated, in my opinion. You know, yeah, guys, just be the trusting guy. And if you're not trusting, then you're insecure and you need to do healing. I love how, like, when you don't trust people in general, when you're not a trusting person, people will tell you to be like, oh, that sounds like something you need to work on. it's like, do you ever consider that maybe human beings are essentially not trustworthy? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old and cynical or something. But yeah, all these guys who seem to be very trusting seem to get hurt the most, don't they? Very interesting. So let's continue here. One night we were out with some of her co-workers, and Claire made a joke about something I said to her in confidence. She tried to play it off, but I caught the look between her and Josh. It was fast, half a second, but it was there. That night, I checked her phone while she was asleep. Not something I'm proud of, but I couldn't shake the suspicion anymore. He found messages. What I found wasn't bedroom fun related. It was worse in a way. Hundreds of messages. Claire venting to Josh about me, him giving her advice on how to handle him, joking about his mood swings, still act like a grieving widow. Oh my goodness. Some of it was just gossip, but a lot of it was them emotionally bonding way more than what I'd call appropriate. There were long messages about how they understood each other in ways that other people didn't, and how they wished that things were simple. So this woman is essentially just cheating. Let's call it for what it is, okay? Oh, I caught my girlfriend and this dude texting. No, you caught them cheating. This qualifies to me as cheating. I don't really care what anyone says. This is like throw away the woman immediately territory. Immediately. So yeah, so they're exchanging texts here, blah, blah, blah. Let's continue. The next morning, I didn't say anything right away. I went to work like normal, but I was distant the whole day. When I got home, I asked Claire straight up if there was anything going on emotionally between her and him. He paused for too long before answering, and then she said, no, we're just friends, carefully. I told her I had read the messages and her face dropped. To her credit, she didn't deny it. She just started crying. This is such I'm sorry, but this is such a hilarious reaction, guys, to me, right? You catch a woman doing some heinous crap, right? Just the most heartbreaking thing ever you'll catch a woman doing to you, right? And then her reaction is to just start crying. I don't know why, but at this point, I just find this to be incredibly damn funny. You know, there's crying, saying it wasn't physical, just venting, and she didn't mean to hurt him. He didn't yell, he didn't ask questions. He told her to pack her things and leave by the weekend. Fantastic. Can we get a round of applause for this guy? Fantastic. I don't know if, you know, giving her until the weekend, but, you know, I suppose maybe she's not the fastest packer, okay? I don't know if this is like a Friday or something, but it sounds pretty immediate, right? Kicked her out, told her to have all of her stuff out immediately. That's what I love to see, man. I really don't like to see stories where men keep around the girlfriend or the wife or whatever, and they keep questioning whether or not it's right. I just love to see it when the person cheating kicked out immediately. Very fast, nice and simple. Love it. He says, I blocked this guy, Josh, the affair dude. Not the affair, the cheating guy at the same night. I didn't know him well. We'd only met once or twice, but that was enough. I didn't want to follow up apology or explanation, just distance. Claire tried reaching out a few weeks later to apologize again. She said she missed me and didn't realize how much she'd relied on him for emotional support. He didn't respond. Yeah, I don't think responding is the way to go. I think this is fantastic. So very cut and dry, simple story. Very sad, but you know, this guy, he loses his wife, unfortunately. That's very sad to hear. Goes back out there, resumes dating, and immediately gets screwed over. But silver lining, kicked out the woman immediately, moved on, which I think is fantastic. You know, by the time dudes get to 36 years of age, man, I think a lot of guys, they are just really over it. You know, like this guy had a 10-year-long marriage, I think. So he would have been 26 when they got married-ish. you know, he probably dated a little bit throughout his teenage years or something like this, you know, from like 18 to 24. Maybe found her, got married relatively quickly. But I think by this age, dudes are just like, yeah, a goodbye. I'm kind of done. I'm going to chill, going to be by myself, and that's the way it's going to be. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Do not forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Hopefully none of you have gone through something similar. As always, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.